Okay, another example of co-listening is with a teenager. I have one right here. And this is always an adventure because the beginning of a teenager moving into their own self and development and the psyche and their ego and all the things that go along with that, it can be challenging. It's uncomfortable for them to share sometimes, and yet they definitely need a co-listener, someone that can be there for them, to be an objective listener, to just let them speak without reacting, without trying to fix it, without trying to give them any advice. So we'll give that a try. And sometimes with teenagers as well, I'll do it with the eyes open, or make it a little more comfortable so it's not as meditative, if you will. So it's more engaging and they feel comfortable sharing. So let's give it a try. So I'm going to let Ananda speak first and give her a minute or two. And in the beginning, that's fine. Eventually, if you want to time it and make it more specific, that can be good too. Again, sometimes there might be silence, there might be nothing to say. It's okay to have it, unfold however it will. So I'll give you a minute or two, Ananda, and I'll be here for you.
Okay, well, what I've noticed lately is that I've had a tendency to overthink things, if that makes sense. So it really applies throughout my day, no matter what I'm doing. It's just, I would call it almost a bad habit. It's like, it's just the perfectionism thing. And I think that that's probably very common for people my age, but especially in my case. Like I've always felt like sort of the, A type or whatever. And so I feel like even almost the stereotype of that pushes me even more into that area. Like I get perceived as that, so I almost identify with that. And so I think it's just, I feel like the first step for me is moving past that image of myself, that self-image, that stereotype that I give myself, and giving myself the opportunity to not be attached to that idea, and then I don't know, maybe from there I can learn to not overthink things and learn to go with the flow more. And yeah.
Thanks. Would you mind listening to me for a minute?
Sure.
Sometimes I could close my eyes. It just helps me not get distracted for a moment. It's powerful to sit here and simply listen. Sometimes I wonder what you're thinking about or what your experience is. So feels good. I feel honored to be able to. That sounds weird, but to just be here and be listening. The other, I guess I'm relating to some of my own habits, and I was just watching my mind actually start to spin out a little bit while you were speaking, and then I would catch myself and kind of come back to just listening, but I could see I was getting triggered a little bit with some of my own patterns and habits, different than what you were sharing, but I guess what's true is I'm trying to work on a couple of things around food, and there's some really old ingrained habits, and you can teach an old dog new tricks. it just takes a lot of work for that dog. So I feel like that's true for me, that even as a dad, I want to be a good example of that too. I want to show that I can change, or show that I can improve on stuff, and lose a few pounds, do whatever that is. So this feels really good to just be able to speak and be heard, I guess. So thank you for listening. So that's how it goes. And again, you could, at the end of this, you just kind of go your own way. There's no big plan that you have to then get into a big dialogue about that. Matter of fact, it's really nice to do this and then simply move on in your day. And then it builds a bit of a safety. There's a bit of an understanding, an agreement that this is kind of sacred space, if you will, for whatever that term means. But it's a special time where there's this simple listening and speaking for each other. You can also invite the conversation to begin for the teenager looking at something they're working on with Brave, something they've done from their assessment process, something from this program that they've been working on, or they tried a new recording, they're trying a performance thing for their sport or activity or something they're doing. So you can always get it started that way, which can be really helpful.